Hi friends, Evolving Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for following along with our collection journey. So today's an exciting day, a big day, because we are going to open an entire booster box of Destined Rivals, the new set from Pokemon that released on May 30th, 2025. So I have the set, you can see it's here in front of me. It was already ripped, and I'll tell the story about that in 1 second, but we have, actually, usually you would have 36 packs in a booster box. We have 35 packs. I had to use one of these packs for something else, and so we have 35 packs. So we're going to get those still with 35 packs. We're going to get a pretty good idea of what you would get in a booster box. Of course, results are not necessarily typical. Yeah, so we would expect, let's see, well, yeah, we can do one. Let's do one side at a time. I'll try to remember to do that. We'll see which side is better, starting on the left side. So we have 35 packs, so we're going to get right to it and, yeah, enjoy. So as far as pull rates go, I haven't done a deep dive on pull rates. And because we have a lot of packs to open, we're going to go maybe a little more quickly through these. Oh, no, I thought there was something. No, that's actually, a pretty good card as far as the TCG goes, I believe. So, but no actual hits in that side. Trainers, with any new set, you want to keep your eye on any new trainer cards that might have some value if you're interested in, reselling or getting a little bit of value back from each of these packs. All right, no, nothing there. And, well, it's hiding back there. All right, nothing there. So nothing in that one. We're going back over to the left side. So yeah, keep your eye out for trainers. And even there are sometimes some commons and uncommons and regular rare cards that have value or importance in the TCG. And so that's going to create a little bit of value. So that's one thing I'll be doing as I start going through the bulk cards after openings like this. We're going to definitely have a lot more bulk to work with. All right, nothing in that. We're going to have a lot more bulk to work with after opening this booster box of packs. So no hits so far. As far as hit rates, I mean, I haven't, like I said, I haven't done a deep dive, but I'm assuming basically hit rates have been pretty constant for most of the Scarlet and Violet block, with the exception of the first few sets. I think it took a minute for Pokemon to sort of figure out. So we've got our 2 reverses and nothing there. So yeah, nothing so far. That's a little disappointing, but we'll see. So as far as hit rates, I mean, double rares, the most common rarity, you would expect that. Well, not technically the most common. The commons are most common, but when we think about hits, we're thinking about anything that's a double rare or above. So double rares, we would expect about 1 every 5 to 6 packs. So out of 36 packs, we would expect, there's our 2, and yeah, nothing there. We would expect, I would hope we get 5 or 6. Now I'm already losing track of which side I'm on, so much for that. But anyway, we'll just do our best. So yeah, I would expect 5 or 6 double rares out of this booster box, and then you would expect, ultra rares and, okay, oh, Rapidash, nice. That's a nice card. I think that is such a sharp card. It really is nice. So I think I pulled that on this side, so we'll leave that over here. I don't know if I got that wrong. You will know. It's hard to do all these things at once in real time, so if I mess up the sides, that's fine. But we do have our first hit. That's an illustration rare. It's, I think, yeah, really a nice-looking card. So it's only worth around $10, and so it's not like there's something peeking out. There's our first double rare. So double rares, I would expect 5 to 6 double rares. The ultra rares and the illustration rares, I think of them, even though a lot of times you'll see the pull rates are slightly different on those, I sort of think of them as, it's not an exact science anyway, so I think of them roughly as 1 in every about dozen packs or so. So out of a booster box like this, we would expect or hope for 3 illustration rares and 3 ultra rares. And that's probably like really, as far as there's something peeking out, as far as what we would expect. And then, of course, hey, Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. It is just a regular double rare, but still a good card. Kind of the theme, one of the mascots of the set, Mewtwo EX. So the ultra rares and illustration rares, I would expect around 3 each of those. And then beyond that, the hyper rares are really hard to pull. They're about 1 in every 100 packs or so, 100 to 120 packs. And so Those are the gold cards. Those would be the hardest. So we can't count on one of those in a booster box, but of course you can hope for one. And if we get one, the thing with those is that even though they're hardest to pull usually as far as rarity goes, they're not necessarily the most valuable cards. And so if you're going to pull kind of an unexpected hit, you're really going to want that to be a special illustration rare. And then you've got that special illustration rare category. That's definitely the coveted category. Again, not as hard to pull as the alternate arts in the Sword and Shield era, so we have that kind of going for us. But I forget even which side. We'll double check at least that we're even in a minute here. So SIRs, Special Illustration Rares in the Scarlet and Violet block, not as hard to pull as the alternate arts, which is kind of nice, I think. I mean, if you make it a chase card, then it really can be hard to, I don't know. It cuts both ways, and it's really exciting when you get one, but also it can be disappointing especially when I go back and open something like Sword and Shield, and just knowing that your chances are minuscule to get really any sort of like decent card. Even if you get a hit, it's often going to be, not that exciting. And so I do like what they've done with Scarlet and Violet. Oh, there's something peeking out. Ooh, nice. Ethan's Ho-Oh. Oh, that's the two. Wait, that is the SAR, right? The 2 stars. Yeah, I think this is the SAR. The 2 gold stars. Ethan's Ho-Oh EX. All right, so speaking of SIRs, this is definitely a hit. That's very exciting. All right. Maybe I should sleeve this up just to be... there are 5. I double checked. There are 5 cards worth over $100 in this set. I mean, the prices are going to fluctuate a lot, but actually, give me one real quick second. All right, yeah. So that is the SIR, and that's worth about $150. So that's pretty nice. That really helps a lot. Very exciting. All right, we have our first SIR, probably our only SIR. You're not going to expect 2 of those in a booster box. And, of all of them, of course, the chase card in this set is the Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. That is worth really right now around $400. I assume that will come down over time, and I'm sure this Ethan's Ho-Oh, maybe it will eventually settle even maybe under $100, but right now it's $150, and we will take it. I think it's the 3rd or 4th most valuable card in this set, so that is pretty exciting. All right, good for us. So I would still expect, hopefully with this remaining pack, we should pull a few more, probably 3 more ultra rares, maybe 2 more illustration rares. Whoops, 3 or 4 more. But the SR, that is pretty awesome. Well, look at us. So as far as like getting access to this product, I'm curious your experience. So you can leave a comment. That would be really helpful. I really do like to hear, what it's been like. All right, Team Rocket's Giovanni. This is an ultra rare. So this one, I don't know. Ultra rares as a class of cards, as a type of cards, as a rarity, they tend to not hold their value a lot. But I don't know. Giovanni as the kind of the unofficial mascot with Mewtwo for this set, maybe that one's going to hold its value a little more. We had that with Journey Together, where there were a few of the ultra rares that actually were decent as far as holding value, and just by holding value I mean worth a little bit more. There's a Dondozo EX, even though it's just a double rare, we're building a master set, so we're going to need a little bit of everything to help us out. So as far as getting access to this product, I talked about on a video in the past, I think our first Destined Rivals video, that I was a little worried about this set. I mean, I was kind of resigned because I could not put in pre-orders. GameStop stopped doing pre-orders with this set. Something peeking out there. And my local game stores, some of them don't do pre-orders ever. There's a Yanmega EX, so again, we need the double rares, even if it's not that exciting to pull one. I wasn't sure, and I wasn't necessarily able to do all the hustling on release day. And part of me doesn't mind that, I guess, but I don't know. There's just something I don't like about waiting in line, or especially, there's no way I'm going to show up like early and wait in line like all morning or something like that. But even just like, you kind of do these days, have to do that at a lot of stores, local game stores, at GameStops, any place that is expected to have product. And so I did some calling around to LGSs just to double check if they would set something aside for me. I'm a pretty reliable customer, and part of me feels like I'm kind of the person that I would think, I mean, I don't know, I think Pokemon would want stuff in my hands. I'm not like a big time content creator or anything, but I've been in the hobby for a while. I have a devotion to the hobby through the channel and other ways. So I'm not scalping. I'm, enjoying it. I'm putting something back into the public. I do some local events for kids around Pokemon. So it seems like, I'm not Real Breaking Nate where they're going to send me, a box of everything before release, but it just seems like it would be nice if I could at least be guaranteed, one of each product at release, one booster box, one ETB, one of each of the 3-pack blisters, to be able to open on the channel. And so again, one local game store wasn't willing to set something aside for me. I just had to show up like everybody else, although they get really good allocations, and I was able to show up at 10. They open at 10 on Friday the 30th, the release day. So I did do that. And that's where this particular box came from, this box. And they have, a policy that I've seen other stores, nobody else in my area, but I've seen other stores online do this, where if you want to take it home sealed, then they'll charge you market price. And if you want to, if you'll let them, oh, there's a Tomokazu Kamiya card, we want to make sure to grab that for our Tomokazu Kamiya binder. Check out, we have a video about our binder with just the Tomokazu Kamiya artwork. All right, Team Rocket's Crobat EX, again, double rare. We're starting to get those double rares like we would expect. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double rares, which I would expect 5 to 6. So we're probably, let's hope to get some bigger hits. I mean, we got the Ethan's Ho-Oh EX, so we got our SAR. I mean, we really would love to see one SAR. It's not guaranteed in a booster box, but the fact we got one is super nice. That kind of really helps take the pressure off as far as just feeling like we got our money's worth, so to speak. But anyway, this local game store, they will rip it, they'll cut the plastic, and you can take it at not exactly, basically MSRP. Like I paid $165 for this booster box, which is essentially MSRP. MSRP is $161.64, right? I think is the technical. So, I basically paid MSRP for this, which I like that they do that. They'll rip it, and I think that does probably discourage people. Oh, look at that, a hyper rare. All right, we got a hyper rare. That's awesome. Again, I mentioned this is the hardest kind of card to pull. You would expect that only once in probably every 3 to 4 booster boxes. Most hyper rares don't hold a lot of value unless it's a chase Pokemon like the Pikachu. We've seen Pikachu, for example, in a couple of recent sets, Prismatic and Surging Sparks. The Pikachu hyper rare holds its value. Let me just grab these. Let me see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left on this side. And let's see how I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, well, I guess I did something right. So we'll start on the left again. So anyway, my local game store, this local card shop, they focus on sports cards. I've talked about them before, but they do get a really nice allocation of Pokemon. And so I was able to pick up this particular booster box. I'm going to do it the quicker way. So I was able to pick up this booster box. I did have to show up. I showed up at at opening on release day, and there was a line. It wasn't a crazy line. The line moved very quickly. They were limiting it also, besides this thing where they rip it in front of you, they were limiting to 1 item per SKU per person. So you could get one of everything. Although I found out that technically the 3-pack blisters, there's 2 variants, but they have one SKU. So I could only get 1 3-pack blister total, not one of each variant, with the 2 different promo cards. So it's not like you can't get literally everything, and they don't necessarily have everything, but I was able to leave the store with what I wanted. So that's how I got this box. And so, I don't know. I think back to like when I started this channel. Oh, nice. We got an illustration rare, Yanma. I think the right side is definitely treating us better, even not counting even if it weren't for the Ho-Oh, we're doing really well on that side. So, I don't know. When I started this channel, Temporal Forces was the new set that was out. That was a little over a year ago, and I bought a booster box case of Temporal Forces for $600. Actually, less than that. And I opened up all 6 booster boxes on the channel, and we totaled like what we got out of those booster boxes, and it was a little bit of an experiment to see what pull rates were. And I don't know, it was just like, it didn't seem like a big deal to open a booster box case because, and now a booster box case of Destined Rivals is like $1,500, right? So you're not going to do that unless you're like a big time, content creator who's making lots of money off of your channel, who can afford to do that. But I can't afford to, to do that, of course. So now it's like, opening a booster box feels like a real luxury. And the fact that I got this for MSRP makes it feel a little bit more meaningful. But, market price of these booster boxes right now is $260. And so even if you're lucky enough to find one, you're just, the incentive is to keep it sealed, because you're not going to pull. I mean, we were really lucky to pull this Ethan's Hoe. That itself is about worth what we paid for the booster box, but you cannot expect that. And it just doesn't make financial sense to pay $260 for a booster box and then open it, because you're just not going to pull your value. And of course you want the cards, but then, just buy singles, right? And the set's only been out a week, right? And we're already talking about like, it doesn't make sense to open it. And it is discouraging. I mean, I look on Facebook Marketplace every day, and I don't sell on Facebook Marketplace. I never have. Maybe I will at some point in the future, but for me, it's just a barometer. You just look on there anytime there's a new release, and you just see all this stuff pop up. And right now, Destined Rivals ETBs are around 90, I feel like. So again, same thing. Like if you want to spend $90 for one, I don't know. I don't know why you would. And if you did, of course you're not going to open it. It doesn't make any sense to open it. There's only 8 packs. 9 packs? There's only 9 packs in there. So you're just not going to pull your value. And then you've just, so I just feel like there's probably a million people with like, they either buy it to resell it. If they're lucky enough to get it for market price, then they're just going to turn around and put it on Marketplace. There's something sticking out. So we're kind of in this, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad to have this. All right, Team Rocket's Moltres EX. So another double rare. All right, we're down to 4 packs. So we've done well. I mean, again, look how fast this goes. This is $165 of like fun, right? I mean, we did pull the SIR, which is exciting. That really is going to help when it comes to value. But just when it comes to the pack opening experience, just the fact that like these booster boxes, and I appreciate a lot of my local game stores, they're not selling whole booster boxes. You can buy packs. They limit the number of packs, either 4 or 6 I've seen. So you can pick up, some loose packs from time to time. I think it's still really hard at Walmart and Target and places like that. I still think, even though Destined Rivals, I don't know, my guess is it's not getting scalped as much as Prismatic or 151 when that stuff shows up. But I still think, when I look on Marketplace, like people are reselling ETBs for $90. And so I suspect that there is some market for these on the secondary market. And so that's just going to mean there's incentive at places like Walmart and Target to, if you happen to be lucky enough to, hey, nice, Team Rocket's Nidoking EX. This is an ultra rare. I think we were a little light on our ultra rare pulls in this, so we do have the, where did it go? We had one, the Team Rocket's Giovanni, and now we'll add that to it. So before we open our last pack, we will kind of see how we're doing with our pull rates. I used to do like elaborate videos on Thursdays with our pull rates and doing all this detailed stuff, but I mean, these days, because we just can't open the volume of packs, that it makes sense to do that anymore, just because it's so expensive. And oh, nice Clam Pearl, and probably not a very coveted illustration rare, but it is an illustration rare. So we've done really well. I feel like, again, I think in the Scarlet and Violet era, this is really good. Like, this is one booster box. We have a real nice variety. We have lots of different kinds of rarities. Again, they don't guarantee the SIR, and that really, it would probably feel a lot different value-wise if we hadn't pulled that SIR. So we have 2 packs left. So again, this was like, I would love to open a booster box a week. I'd love to open a booster box case of the new set, but I'm not, I can't, like I said, I can't spend $1,500 for that, and I don't have a distribution, so I just have to go to stores like everybody else and try to do my best. And so anyway, I think on that one hand, I'm really lucky that I have anything, and I feel like I was able to hustle at some local card stores. I still haven't seen, I guess I saw some Destined Rivals that like individually sleeved booster packs at Walmart one time, but I haven't seen ETBs, certainly not booster boxes. I haven't been lucky to get pre-orders or to catch any of these restocks online. So I'm just really relying on my local game stores. And the trick there is that, of course, they also have, don't have product forever. They usually sell out pretty quickly, and it's hard to predict when they'll get restocks. And then, you know, they're also going to charge a lot of different prices. I really feel lucky that this booster box was $165, but I was charged more than that at some other places. And so, I don't know. We have one pack left. Let's do a quick survey. So for double rares, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is kind of right on point, what I would expect. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, 5, 6. Ultra rares, I think we ended up with 3, right? We got 1, 2, and then, oh, maybe just 2. So maybe 2 ultra rares. We might expect 1 more. I mean, we'll see. Again, it's not guaranteed. I'd say 2 to 3 in a booster box. For illustration rares, we have 1. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, which is kind of what we would expect. And then again, we pulled an SIR, which is great, and we pulled a hyper rare, which I would not expect either of those for sure. So both those really help. So I probably wouldn't expect anything here. I mean, based on the numbers, maybe an ultra rare would be really nice to kind of round it out. That would mean this box was like almost seated perfectly for us. We'll slow walk this last pack, but thanks for watching. Again, you're getting my sort of thoughts. I would love to hear how it is for you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Pokemon can do. I think they did print a lot of this, is my sense, just anecdotally. But maybe the demand, we want to blame scalpers, we want to blame bad actors, but I also wonder if there's just a lot more interest in the hobby and a lot more people who are collecting sealed product. And even people who resell. I mean, there's that fine line between a scalper and a reseller, right? So like I've seen a lot of people post new products like Destined Rivals, ETBs, and Prismatic bundles from Costco, but they also say, hey, willing to trade for a slab or willing to trade for, you know, other product. We're ready. Here's our last. Oh, we do have something hiding in there. Ethan's Ho-Oh. Did we already pull that? No, I guess we didn't. All right, so we got one more double rare. That's 7. But again, we did super well. We'll pull this hit out one last time. Very cool. Take a look at that. Ethan's Ho-Oh EX. It looks really nice. You know, condition looks good. So good for us. That is our first and maybe only Destined Rivals full booster box opening. I think we did really well. Very happy with that. Very cool card. Very cool cards. Anyway, we're going to keep doing Destined Rivals as best we can as product is available, but really we'll see. And hopefully we can get our hands on stuff. Let me know how it is for you out there, and we'll catch you in a new video really, really soon.